Hey, how are y'all?
Hey y'all, we're here. What's up?
Good Sunday afternoon.
I know, right? And my sister is a little tired today. Both of us
Yeah,
didn't get any sleep.
nope. Gonna be hitting up Starbucks at some point today,
What
for
are you gonna
sure.
get? What are you gonna get?
They came out with this new. This is an advertisement for Starbucks.
Oh, here's a plug for Starbucks. Okay, one more.
They came up with a seasonal apple crisp something. So that's
Does it
what I'm
have
gonna get.
caffeine in it though?
Oh, I'm gonna have them put some espresso in there. I need
Okay,
it.
I love it. I love it. I'm like coffee
Hmm.
with no caffeine. Like what in the world? Like caffeineless coffee. Like who does that? That's like, and I don't drink to get drunk. Let me say that. But who does? That's like, what do you call it? Non-alcoholic beer, or I had to throw that out there. I literally had that conversation with my 18-year-old the other day,
It's
and I'm like, why
bad
are we having this
tasting water.
conversation?
Like it's
Right.
mm, gross.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome, welcome again. We're only going to be here for about 35 minutes. I
Hmm.
know that AJ and I have a whole bunch to do this afternoon. I know you all do as well. I know I'm coming from church. At Jesus, yes,
Yes.
at the name, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that He's Lord, our Savior. And we had an amazing day at church today, AJ. We really did. I mean, my pastor, I tell you, whew, that servant of God, he definitely studies his word. You hear me? Because and you got to go back and look at it whenever you get an opportunity. Boat Rock Community Church .org, Boat Rock Community Baptist Church.org. And if you go to our Facebook page, Boat Rock, I can't imagine you're going to find too many Boat Rocks out there, but that's us. And the word, when he speaks, the word is truly sound doctrine. I mean, we leave like, wow, forever
Mm,
changed and wanting to share it with somebody. He came from Luke chapter 1, verses 26 through 37 today. And he talked about how favor hits you differently. And it was
mm,
awesome. Okay.
mm.
But how was your day?
My day has been going pretty slow. I just really can't get it going yet. So I'm hoping that this is gonna have me get it going. Um,
I love it.
I started. I can't remember the program that I wanted to download on my computer
Hmm.
to clean it and all these other things. So now I have to go through my notes to find that. And
Ah,
then have my computer act normal. It hasn't been acting normal. So,
uh-oh.
when
You might want to talk
computer
to your computer.
issues, computer issues are the worst these days.
And we're talking
Really
about
are.
friends today. So do you have a friend you can call for that?
Actually, I do. I have a friend at a shop on Ponce. Yeah, on Ponce.
Friend or acquaintance?
Oh, no, no, definitely friends. I did an internship at the it's called Tech Genius. I did an internship there.
Oh,
Yeah.
shout out to
So
Tech Genius.
I
Okay.
know, black owned business down here in Atlanta, doing their thing.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Okay. So it is a friend, not an acquaintance.
Oh, it's an acquaintance. I did an
No.
internship, so I got acquaintance.
See, we're going to talk about that because, and that's why we're talking about that today, right? Because, how to know you truly have friends. These are just ideas that we have, again, from My Empowered Woman Speaks. And we want you to comment and share and like and all that kind of fun stuff if you think it's beneficial for you or anyone. But we want to talk about it, again, openly, real, transparent, and solution based because a lot of us don't really know the difference between friends and acquaintances. We
Yes,
know the difference between friends and foes, right? But we never
exactly.
really, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, like much younger, like 40 some odd years younger, in elementary school and high school, I just knew I called everybody my friend because I was at school with them all the time. No one ever really defined what a friend was for me. I just
Hmm.
thought it was somebody that I saw all the time and we laughed together or we did homework together, whatever.
Hmm.
That's my friend. That's my friend. You know,
Gotcha.
I mean,
But relationships go a lot deeper. I mean,
hmm.
as we all know as adults, it gets a lot
Yep.
deeper. So it's like as you get older, you'll be able to make that clear line between, okay, this person is an actual friend and then this person is an acquaintance.
So what do we consider a friend? I want to start
Uh,
there before we do a deep dive because it's going to get kind of juicy. So tell me what, I mean, in your view, in your experience, because you meet a lot of people with AJ White photos. I mean,
yeah.
doing photography everywhere, being on the set, TV, and you meet people that become long-term people that you know for years and work with.
Hmm.
So what do you define as a friend with all of your meeting all these people?
Well, I have to tell you, with a friend, you're not going to forget their name. That's straight up right there. There
Oh,
are a
wow.
lot of people that you meet and you forget their names. Those people, you can cross them right off. They're not your friend because
Right.
if they were, you would know their name.
I think that's a dead giveaway. If you don't know their name, probably not even an acquaintance. Okay.
Right? So,
Well, unless let me give somebody some grace though. Let me stop right there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. So there's people that I've forgotten their names, and it might have been just because my memory just got me, or there was nothing that really stood out to me because a lot of times I remember names by association.
yes.
So I might think you wear glasses all the time and your name is Glenda. So I'll do it like that.
Mm.
So I won't say that they didn't make a big impression on me or they're probably not your acquaintance. For me, um, I would have made some association if they were memorable and I wanted to remember them, even as an acquaintance. But you got a good point if you don't know their name. What else for you though, if you say, okay, if I'm going to call this person my friend, somebody who I know and I have a bond of mutual affection, I can trust them. They're my ride or die. If I call them, they're there. If they don't like me that day, they tell me I stink, and then they still stick by me. Okay, they're if I need them at the last minute, they're there, or they find a replacement if they can't be there. If I call them, they call me back. If they they're a true friend.
Yes.
If you don't
I
talk
mean,
for weeks and then you talk, it's like you never didn't talk.
yes. All of those are great vibes that send out, okay, this is my friend. This is my real friend. Yes.
How many
So
friends do you think you
everything.
should have?
Ooh.
I was thinking about that question on the way home.
I actually think you should have as many as you can. Real ones.
Wow.
But that takes work. That takes work and time.
Yeah, it
If you
does.
have the time for it, yeah, you should get as many connections and stuff as you can. Because when
Okay,
you
now we're
get,
talking about acquaintances though, AJ.
oh, just
Because you can have,
acquaintances?
no, I'm saying, no. I mean, so you think I should have a whole bunch of friends and a whole
I
bunch of
do.
acquaintances?
No, no,
Oh,
no. A whole bunch of friends, but not too many acquaintances. Because I feel like the more
huh,
friends you have is the more resources you have. Because people are
huh.
more than just, people that come in your life and say hi and bye. Your friends are actual resources. It's like, hey, you need something? Hey, I know this person, he can help, da 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 da. But
Okay,
once again, friendship takes
huh.
time. A lot of people don't have the time for it.
So I'm going to disagree with you on that one. You know how we roll.
Hmm.
For me, for
Hmm.
me, I have 3 friends.
Hmm.
Everybody else are acquaintances.
I gotcha.
And I take my time in bringing friends because for me, I feel like, well, let me go back. I feel like I should have a whole bunch of acquaintances and very
Hmm.
few friends
Hmm.
because to your point, acquaintances to me is in networking. It might be in ministry, it might be at work, and they have resources. I have resources. We help one another, but I wouldn't necessarily call that person and trust them with the secret. I wouldn't
Hmm.
necessarily call that person and confess my sins to them, like the
Yeah.
Bible says. I wouldn't necessarily, I love them as my acquaintances. I'd be there for them if I could be, if they needed me, right?
Hmm.
I'm not so sure I would share some of my, deep thoughts and things with. So for me, especially being as a minister, as an evangelist, I have to really be very careful there too. And also, it has to be a relationship to where, friendship for me is not somebody who 1 minute they right there in your corner that, ooh, they just, yeah. And then as soon as something doesn't go their way, or they don't feel good, or it didn't go, or whatever the case, they just leave you, or
Yep.
you can't find them, or they don't talk to. It becomes very. That's not a friend.
Yeah.
That's a friend is going to say, I didn't like what happened. Let's talk about it, but I'm still with you. If you like it, I love it. Let's move. Or you're
Right.
crazy. What's wrong with you? Let's talk about it. But they're going to communicate. And I think that for me has been a struggle over my years of meeting so many people. And so I
Mm-hmm.
had to condense my
Gotcha.
friends compared to my acquaintances, because then I would always get let down
Mm.
because they're not used to people. And I have to say, this is a testimony real quick, and I'm so glad we're talking about it, because for me,
Mm-hmm.
I was always, and I was talking to Minister Kaylee about this the other day. I'm always giving, 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 giving. And so people who are in that mindset of what's yours is yours, and what's mine is ours. No, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. They don't understand me, and I'm the type of person, I'm so giving,
Yeah.
and so when I'm giving, 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 you know, what'll happen is people will take and then they'll run, and then
Mm-hmm.
they never get back. And so for me, I had to kind of really be careful with who I call friend and acquaintances, because I would
Yeah.
always get let down, and until I realized I was doing this. Jesus did that. Jesus did stuff all the time, and didn't. There's no reciprocity. Jesus did, but he kept his disciples close,
Mm-hmm.
and he went about and did what he needed to do, speaking the word, healing people, praying for people. And so I said, you know what? Hold up. Do I have this all wrong? Jesus had a faithful few. Why can't I just have a faithful few?
Yeah.
And then when people do things like that, and you have to do a self check too and see what happened as to why they came in your life and out of your life, right? But I'm
Yep.
like, when they do that, it won't hit me as hard, because I don't have a high expectation of them as I would a friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's just little subtle aspects of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jesus had his disciples, but they were together all the time, which allowed
All the
him to have to call them friends because
time.
they were
Mm-hmm.
there. He had the time for it. If
Yeah.
you have the time to invest in people, to build them up to that level of trust for them to be called a friend, go for it. You should have as many of those as you can, as time will allow. But if
Mm,
you don't have that, having a few is good, and having a bunch of acquaintances can be useful too. But the
yeah.
friends, they're real resources if something goes wrong. And
Yeah. I
I'm
agree.
finding that as a young woman trying to put certain things together, you need to have a certain combination of people to make that happen.
It's
A lot,
true.
yes, you can do for yourself, you can do on your own,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes you need that extra support in whatever it is that you're doing. Then you can reach out to a friend and be like, hey, I need this, da 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 da, blah, blah, blah.
And a friend is someone who's going to give it to you if they
Yeah,
got it.
yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
a friend is also someone who's going to probably not ask for you. If it's financial, they're probably not going to ask you to pay it back.
Correct.
It depends on their situation. Okay.
Yeah,
But they're going to probably give you those rules of engagement up front, because they don't want money to come in between your friendship.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Friends have to show themselves friendly, you
Yes.
know. Um, and so you bring up a very valid point when you said that if you have room for to be able to garner those types of relationships, I think that's so important, because
Yeah.
you know um, you're right. If you have, if you're good with having a whole bunch of friends, and you can do that, and if you're not, I would say, if you're not someone who gets your heart broken easy like I used to, with, seriously, I'm just keeping it real. I would get my
Oh
heart like
yeah.
super broken, like, oh my God, whatever's mine is yours. So why are you leaving? What's the problem? I'm supporting you. I'm helping you. I'm here. I promise I'm not like those other people. But if you're like me, then you probably should have a smaller group of friends and a whole bunch of acquaintances, because you can just keep on, you know, and you don't necessarily get your heart broken that way, if you're because you have to know yourself too, right?
Yeah.
But I like what you said, because you got to have time to garner those relationships like Jesus did. He was working those relationships with the disciples, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and he was able to call on them a few times. Now he called on them, they weren't acting right. Now he tried to go up there and pray with his homies, come back down, think they're
Yeah.
gonna do what he showed them to do, and they did. So, but
Yeah.
he didn't boot them out,
Yeah.
okay, which is a beautiful thing. But I want to ask you, because I wrote down some things here, and I'm hoping this can help someone, because it's important to have friends. And I was looking at some of the celebrities that have friends, and I didn't know that Beyonce and what's her name? Ah, oh my gosh, now I can't remember. Beyonce and this other young lady are really close friends. When I was looking at celebrities and
Mm-hmm.
their friendships, they're both parents. I wrote it down, and now I don't see where I wrote it. It pays to be organized, okay? I did this on the way home. Okay, here she is. Beyonce and Gwyneth Paltrow. Did you know that they were really close friends? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
They've really been helping
Wow.
each other as parents. And so when I
Ah.
saw that, I was like, does money change friendships? That's the first thing I thought about. Okay.
Mm.
If you have a friend and they are more well off than you, or vice versa, you're more well off than them, does that change friendships?
I don't think it changes friendships. I think it changes who you're around. So it changes
Mm,
the friend selection that you have.
okay.
So if you happen to be very well off and it puts you in a community where there are tons of people that are different from you, but you
Mm-hmm,
find
mm-hmm.
similarities there, I think that's what it really is, because it's the people that you're around that you're going to become close to.
So would you help? And I was thinking about that. So how would I handle that? Let's say I was a friend of someone who was very well off financially. I mean, they're a millionaire. Okay.
Hmm.
And let's just say I wasn't well polished.
Okay.
We're friends. I go hanging out with her friends and her social gatherings, and I'm
Hmm.
not real polished. I
Yeah.
guess my question is, does money change things then? Like, let's say we both grew up in the same area. So we both had the
Hmm.
same background. We both had the same village raising us. But now
Hmm.
she's financially more well off than me. And her
Hmm.
friend groups, to your point, is different. And I'm not as polished with that type of group. I'm real. I'm gonna let
Hmm.
it. If it coming out, if it's in my mind, I'm gonna spit it out. I might not eat with the right fork and the right spoon. I
Hmm.
may put both elbows on the table. I just might not be. What would
Yeah.
I? What would I expect her to do as my friend? You
To
know,
to to have the conversation, be real with the person. If this is
yeah.
your friend, they're going to be real with you and say, hey, let's go shopping or let's do this, let's do that. Because
Mm-hmm.
a friend will pull you up to where you need to be or where they hope that you can be or where you want to be. That's what friends do.
I
So
like that.
literally, it's like if you're in that situation, your friend isn't going to let you drown. If that's your friend, they're not going to
If
let you
it's
drown.
truly your friend, they're not gonna let you drown. Wow, that is deep. If they're true, so that's one. That's one. If they're truly your friend, they're not going to let you drown. And you know what? If you're truly their friend, um, thinking about her, I wouldn't let her drown either. I don't want to show
Yeah,
up at her events and be acting all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Maybe I should say,
exactly.
girl, I need some help. Or how do I get some shoes like that?
Yeah,
Or something,
yeah,
have the conversation, call her out when she's wrong and let her call me out when I'm wrong. Oh, well, we
exactly.
got some,
Exactly.
hold on, we got some crazos online. Always gotta love them when they start oh wow, they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. When they start putting all these crazy things online,
Mm.
profane language, and that's crazy. Okay. And talking about body parts, that's just unacceptable. You're
Yeah.
not welcome here talking about body parts. Okay. We don't, you know, that's not good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I blocked them.
Mm-hmm. Move
That's
that
so not
along.
cute. Because there might be young people watching the show and you're sending those things. I'm so glad we have this thing censored. I don't know if this is something Minister Kaylee did to make sure it's taken care of, but whatever it is, I know how to work it now. Um,
Good.
Yeah. But that's good. You know, she's got the prompts up there where I can just block them. I think she did that for us. Especially when she's not here, 'cause, you know, I'll be trying to figure it out. But yeah, you won't let your friend drown. I like that. And we want to add that you are going to call them out when they're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, privately, by the way. That's a real friend. A real friend, oh my. A real friend is gonna call you out in private, and y'all can have a knockdown, drag out, and still be fine. Go shopping later. Also, if you decide to take a pause from your friend, public service announcement. This is how you know you're not a real friend. When you take a pause from that friend for whatever reason, you just might need a break. And then they go telling your whatever, how you used to be, what you used to say, what you used to do to other people. Now, word to those other people. If that person that was, let's say that's me. Let's say that's my friend, and we took a pause from each other, and they went to their friend and start talking about me or things like that. Super childish anyway, especially we've gotten older, super immature. But let's say they do. That other friend should be like, wait a minute. You used to be with her all the time. If you're talking about her, what would you do with me? So we've got to remember that iron sharpens iron. And so I say you call that person out when they're wrong. It's okay. The Bible even talks about rebuke. You know, you go to that friend, you tell them what's wrong. If that doesn't work, you bring somebody else with you. If that doesn't work, then you go to the next steps. But really, that's a good friend when you call them out. Say, that's not cool that you're doing that. Why don't you talk to her or him?
Gossip is real. Gossip is real.
It's super real. It is super real.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let them drown. Call them out when they're wrong. And this one is another big one. And I've had to work on this a lot all my life because I'm a talker. When I started coaching, it helped me. I don't know if you can attest to this too, but being willing to listen. Listen.
Yeah.
A real friend will listen.
Yeah.
You know,
I think a real friend will listen and try to understand where you're coming from. Because
like
there are
it.
some friends that will listen to you and will always be on your side no matter what, and they're not really taking in the whole situation. And they're
Yeah.
trying to be supportive because they love you, you know.
Right.
They always want to be on your side, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
even that is a hurdle for friends because they're so gun ho for you all the time. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like,
A true friend is gung ho for you all the
yeah,
time.
all the time. So sometimes it's hard. It could be hard in certain situations for them to say, "Hey, you didn't handle this properly." You
Right.
know?
And
Yeah.
that's the thing, though. That I'm going to go back to that, AJ, because that's the thing. If you are truly friends, it should not be hard. And let me say why. That's why I'm down to a small amount.
Hmm.
Because I should be able to have rules of, and I've learned this in my older age. I should be able to have rules of engagement with you. We
Yeah.
should know if we don't talk for a while, the rule of engagement, don't call me and go, I'm glad you called. Or, I mean, I called you and you go, oh, look what the cat drug in. I'm glad you called. Come on now. That's not real friendship. That's not. Especially because you don't even know what I'm going through. How about find out if I'm okay?
Some people are too quick to do that.
Uh-uh.
I have a really good friend who does that, but it's only
And how do you
because
feel? Do you feel bad sometimes when she
it
does that?
makes
Or
me
he?
feel bad. But she's calling me out like that's her way of calling me out like
That's
you've
her
been
way of
gone for
calling you
too
out.
long.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like you've been gone for too long.
But you know what I say to people when they say that to me?
No way.
You know, the few friends I have, we don't say that to each other. We just, it was like, if we hadn't talked in 3 days, it's like we talked a minute ago still.
Gotcha.
But people that are acquaintances that do that, I mean, I go, hey, so was your phone on? And I laugh,
Hey,
like, you know,
that's true. They could have called too.
because most of the time you get people say, oh, you just do too much, Evangelist Denise. You just all over the place. You got this going and that going and that going. Okay, so if you see me in all these places, why not message me and say, hey, girl, give me a holler when you get a minute? Because
Mm.
chances are for me, if you really know me, I'm thinking about you all the time. I was thinking about Mama Net yesterday, my best friend's mother. And I think about her all the time. But yesterday, the Holy Spirit said, call her. You thinking about her, call her. And I did. You know, but it doesn't mean I'm not thinking about someone. So like,
Mhm.
look, when you say, look what the cat drug did. People, we do that to Christians too. If they haven't been out of church for a while and they
I
muster up enough strength to come back in, and we say that to them, that
I
runs them
gotta.
away.
That's true, but in my situation, the person texts me and I didn't
Oh,
respond.
oh,
So it's
oh.
my fault. It's my fault all the way.
I love it, Miss Empowered Woman. You just being transparent. Look, it's me. I
Like
was the bad,
that was
she was
me.
texting me, but I didn't answer.
Yeah, that was me.
So, and I do that too. I do that too. I've done that. And now I'm very sensitive to that because, um, I'm very sensitive to that because
Mm.
I feel like you never know what's going on with me. If I text you or call you sometime that day, you should call me back if you love me, like you say you do, because I would do it for you. And I remember my sister, Sean Yashika, I don't think she's on today, but she told me, she said, do you remember you used to do that to me all the time? I would text you and you never call me back until like days later. And I said, and I had to check myself. And that's why I try to respond faster now, because
Mm.
I know if she did check me like that, probably would be like, you know what, you're right. I'd be open and transparent like you too. Like, because I used to be really bad about that.
Mm.
So she should have checked you.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Not good. Not
I
good.
got another one here. They keep our stress in check.
I agree. I agree with that so much because it's literally like taking you out of the situation. Like
Instead of putting you back in it.
yeah, it gives you a break, you know? You step back, you look at the situation, then you're able to
Hmm.
come back maybe with a different perspective once you might have overlooked something. So many thoughts go through our head, and then there are a lot of thoughts that we just keep repeating in
Yeah.
our minds. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
And if it's a true friend, they will, kind of ask questions, because like you said, you might have missed something, or you keep repeating the same things. And sometimes you don't know it. Like I know a lot of times I didn't know it. People would tell me, you're going to bed every night at like 11 or 12 o'clock because we see the messages. And sometimes you're up
Hmm.
at 3 or 4 in the morning because we see the messages. And I wouldn't even realize it sometimes, and then wonder why I'm having
Oh.
anxiety attacks. So, it took friends to kind of tell me that, because I,
Hmm.
I was missing it. I was so focused on something. And I started praying to God to give me people that are similar, give me resources that are similar to me, with the
Hmm.
the the, the drive and the focus of getting something done, because I can't do it all on my own. And my friends are telling me I'm not sleeping. I'm looking bags under my eyes, all
I
stressed out.
know.
So you're right. I missed it too,
Mm.
you know?
This is one of those things. A good
Hmm.
friend will tell you.
Wow.
Definitely tell you.
And they can
Hmm.
sense it. They can sense when you're stressed.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And I don't know what it is about me, but yeah. I guess I've always had a very um what do I want to say?
Hmm.
I've always had a very just straight and narrow, not straight and narrow, but I'm pretty level. I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty level. So if something's shifting me off of my level, it's like an automatic ding
Like,
saying,
what's wrong? Like something's really wrong if
mm,
she's off her cool tip.
yeah, because I like chilling out.
Right, 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 right. So if something's, they sense it. If it's not, they can tell immediately with you.
Immediately with
And see,
me.
with me, you have to really be my friend to know when I'm stressed, because my stress comes out differently because I internalize it.
Oh,
So you'll see me up all night. You'll see me, um, you know, probably I'm a morning person, so you might see me later versus earlier.
mm,
You know,
gotcha,
um, I won't answer the phone before 8 if
gotcha.
I'm stressed. Right. But my friends know that. So so to your point, like what you're saying, a real friend is going to be able to sense out that stress, and they're going to know if you're not like your normal even self, something ain't right with Sister AJ. So that's a true friend. If you've got friends, and anybody who's listening, if you've got friends who are stressed out right now, your job as their friend, if you're truly their friend and not just their friend with a motive, okay, you are going to really be their keeper. You're gonna watch out for them with stress. I don't mean going and throw a hammer over their head and they feel the weight of the hammer where you're like, you did this, and it's like, okay, so how are you feeling? Okay, so, and you're listening for truly how they're feeling if you're a true friend. And what's going on with you? How can I help? Because whatever they're going through is their reality. Okay. And so you coming to give them all this stuff, it's not going to work if they're not ready to receive it.
Very
and so
true.
as a friend, just want to say that out there. Make sure you're not a friend with a motive, right? You are truly, it's time to really purge that right now with all this stuff that's going on. Purge, do some sifting of who's truly a friend, who you are truly friendly to. Because you might not be a good friend to somebody. Maybe you need to kind of pull back and recheck yourself and get it together and then go back and be the best friend, because life is hard and we need each other.
Yes,
we do.
Very, very true. The connections that we have are so important. They're so important. Just in everyday living.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
For every reason.
Every reason. Say that again. Amen. Amen. Oh my gosh. Amen. For every, and I put another one here because when you just said what you just said, I scroll right to it. Thank you, God. It says they have your back even when life gets tricky. We got to remember that just because let me go back. Just because we're in ministry with someone doesn't mean they're our friend. That means we're partnering with you.
Yep.
Just because we're at work with someone and we work with someone, we see people at work more than we see our family, that doesn't mean they're your friend. So we got to be careful about that, because life will get tricky and a true friend is going to have your back no matter what. So you can't be getting mad because that person at the job that you just told some secrets to, you're talking about the boss to them and their acquaintance and they want your job. So they're going to go tell on you and they're going to go tell somebody else and somebody else. And maybe they're not a Christian. Okay. Or a devout Christian. Let me put it that way. Okay. And so their mission in life is to bring you down. You got to remember, a true friend is going to have your back no matter what. And just because you're in ministry with them does not mean they're your friend. Just because you go to church with them don't mean they're your friend. Just because you hang out with your friend's friend don't mean they're your friend. And I really had to throw this out there, AJ, with the job, because I was the one who didn't understand that. I didn't have a line. I really didn't. And as a leader, I was telling a lot of things back. I remember in my WP days, which was, probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. I would tell certain individuals because they were, melanated. I would say certain things that I shouldn't have said. And now I thank God, he, the Holy Spirit pricked me, because I could have been in a lot of trouble. But I would make some comments or I would say things that's like, yeah, we good because, we melanate. No, you can't do stuff like that, because at the end of the day, that's not your friend. You came there to do a job. Thank you, Lord, if there's an opportunity to do ministry, right? But they are not someone you need to be saying certain things you cannot say to subordinates, employees. You can't. Yeah. And I could have learned that the hard way. But experience was my teacher this time. And obviously the Holy Spirit was my teacher first. But I do want to throw that out there, because in talking to my 18-year-old, we have a lot of conversations. And I know you mentor quite a bit too, and you talk to young people. And they really I never really told her what a true friend was.
Those kind of conversations are so impactful. So I'm glad you're having them.
Yeah. And I'm hoping it's not too late,
She is just starting. She is good. She is good.
Well, she's in college to make some new friends, if she chooses to, or friend. But, and sometimes you meet friends in college that are your lifelong friends, and you thought that the ones you had in elementary and high school were going to be your friends. And they really weren't. Exactly. So I do want to throw that out there. I'm so glad you said you're glad we're having that conversation, because I really want to employ all the parents out there. Dads, talk to your girls and your boys, your sons and your daughters. Moms, talk to your sons and your daughters. I didn't do that early on enough. I might have done it by default with my 29-year-old. I don't think I ever had the conversation with my 22-year-old. And then my 18-year-old, we're just now having the conversation. So many of you who have kids that are under 18, you got a great opportunity to really put in their mind what a true friend is. What's good, what's not so good, you know, what to look for. Don't make everybody your BFF. Everybody's not your BFF. There are some warning signs out there.
Not everybody deserves your kindness.
Well, everybody deserves your kindness. So I'm gonna, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like a different kind of kindness for your friends.
And for those watching, I'm not trying to cut my sister. What I was saying, I'm coming from a spiritual perspective, and she's coming. I know what she's saying. She's saying, I know exactly what you're saying. They don't deserve that full vulnerability that you would give to a friend.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying.
Better wording. Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you meant. For the Christians and the spiritual folk in the house, who I don't want nobody texting me again saying, you said you agree with her when she said, and everybody you'd be surprised the messages that I get sometimes. And I love it. It's kind of a love, not so love thing. It's like a love like thing. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, because they're they're supporting in their way. They're watching and listening, which is what we want.
Yes. And I also want you to kind of watch our character and our personality and see that, seriously, you really think I'm going to tell somebody not to do that? So I don't say that to y'all, so you know who you are. What I do is I respond to you in love and say, okay, thank you for the feedback, because I really appreciate the feedback, AJ. And then I say, remember, if you've been watching us for a while and you've been partnering with us for a while, you know, typically I'll say this, this, and this. And a lot of times they'll respond back, you know what, you're right. But I just want to make sure. And I'm glad they keep us on our toes. Yeah. Just some of the comments come off like, are you condoning drinking? Seriously, spoken from the person with the fifth in their glove compartment. I'm not condoning drinking. I'm just saying don't get drunk. Okay. That's what I'm saying. And so I had to have that conversation with someone, which was a really cool conversation. I built an acquaintance out of it, which was great. But I went in a rabbit hole, but that's why I responded that way to you. So
no, I get it.
We're almost coming in for a close, guys and gals. I did want to go. Can I go through, AJ, what's a fake friend or what's some warning signs of a friend, a bad friend?
Oh, I don't think we kind of touched on it.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Warning signs.
You had given some examples of what a good friend was, but then intertwining what a bad friend is.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And these things we left out. And so today, let me say this. I will not have time to go over the peppermint oil or the other mystery oil we're going to talk about next week. So I'll do both next week. So we're learning together about essential oils. Okay. We're learning together, y'all, about essential oils. Wendy Wynn, who was also one of our partners on the show for some time, she would always give us these helpful hints. And I just want her to know, if she's listening, that it did not go on deaf ears. We heard you. Okay. And so now we're learning together because we can read. Thank you, God. So we'll be talking about this as we move on. So next week, we'll not only talk about peppermint oil, but we'll talk about another one that I'm not going to tell you about until then. However, so let me just throw these out there, because you're right. We may have mentioned them, AJ, but let me just, to be safe, since I've been having this conversation with my daughter, I want to make sure I don't miss it. So one of the warning signs is a fake friend will only call when they need something.
Oh, only. Yeah, that is definitely trademark. Definitely. I don't have anything to say about that. It's a tall tale sign.
That's a warning sign.
Mm-hmm.
If they only call when they need something. I said only. Now, your friends should call you when they need something. That's why you have a friend. Like you said, if you can, you can guard a relationship with a whole bunch of them, and that's your bag, great. I have 3, so I'm good. unless God brings another friend in my life. And I want to throw that out there too. What does the scripture say about friendships? Okay. However, we got to remember, if they only call you when they need something and nothing else, then they are not your true friend.
Agreed.
They never call to see how you're doing. They don't know how the family doing. They ain't calling to pray for you. They ain't coming to the baby shower.
Yeah.
They ain't doing none of that.
None
Okay? None of that. They just calling you when they need something. When they moving, they want you to come help them move. And they want you to buy the boxes. I'm just saying. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on? Hold on 1 second. I got to make sure. 1 second. Okay. So I had to put that one on here. Hey, I'm in a podcast. I'll have to call you right back, okay? I'm not ignoring you. I promise I'm not. But I'll call you right back. I'll call you right back. I promise. I'm on a podcast. I'll call you right back. That's what friends do. Because I've gotten 4 calls. I don't want them to think I'm ignoring them. Like, really, seriously. They forgot that I'm on a podcast typically at this time.
Gotcha.
But real friends call the friend back and say, look, I promise I'm not ignoring you. Like, chill, girl. Number 2, a fake friend will always put you down.
Yes. Yep. They're not interested in you for real. So whether it's like just comments of just bashing, it just comes out. They don't have anything positive to say.
Nothing. They're never going to compliment you, especially after you tell them, or you start, girl, what do you think about this? Or if you have a guy friend, a bromance or whatever, and you say, you know what do you think about this shirt? What do you think about my makeup? What do you think about my hair color? And so they know now that what they think matters to you. So they're listening as a real friend. So now they're probably going to, when they see you looking nice, girl, you look nice, girl. And, queens always uplift queens. But a fake friend, hear me clearly, a fake friend will always put you down. Why you got on that? Ooh, what's that? I mean, they're always, when I say, please hear the words that I'm saying, always.
Yeah.
I didn't say sometimes, because your friend's going to be honest with you. Girl, you got a booger in your nose. Don't wear that color lipstick again. Or tell me why you wore that color lipstick first. Maybe you had a reason for it. And then you talk. But if they always put you down, that's a warning sign. They're not really your friend.
Yep. Friends are supposed to support. I mean, it comes naturally. You want to see each other win.
And your honesty comes naturally. So then when you tell me something doesn't look right or whatever, then I know you're coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
But if you always put me down, chances are we're not real friends. I want you to really hear what I'm saying. Don't gravitate on it, because people who gravitate on that statement whenever I do it in coaching are the culprits. They're the ones, wait a minute, because I feel like I'm just being honest. I said always. When you ever compliment your friend and then they go, oh yeah, you're right, I don't. I never give them compliments. I never tell them what I like about our friendship, what I like about them. All right, we're coming in for a close. I said we're going to be finished at 3:05, and we are not. Did we start late? I think we started late too. All right, last one. A fake friend will not take your advice ever.
Ooh, that's heavy, because it's like you can actually give them good advice, but intentionally they will not follow it just because you said it.
That's not your friend. Public service announcement. That's not a friend. Because I'm sure at some point in your relationship with that friend, you had some good advice for them. So a fake friend, we're talking about when if like venting goes wrong.
Yeah.
Your friend, if they're venting and it goes wrong, they may even ask for your advice, and you give them the advice and they go, every time. No, won't do that. Or they'll do it later and give somebody else credit for it. such and such
Because
told me. That always gets my goat. That really always gets me when you give someone some advice. I don't necessarily want the credit. It's all good. I get credit from him. However, you tell somebody to do something, you recommend it to them, and then they go get it from somebody else and then come back and tell you like it's some novel idea. And I always say something to them like, they're my acquaintance, first of all. And they go, seriously? I told you that last
yeah,
week.
it's annoying. It's an annoyance. People don't like
Thank
to
God
be
it doesn't
annoyed.
pay my bills, because I'd really be in bad shape
Mhm.
if that paid my bills. I'm going to read these real quick that I have written here. A fake friend will never take responsibility for their actions, ever. Hear me clearly, always and never. Never take responsibility for their actions, especially as it relates to you. They are not a real friend. You need to work on that friendship. If you need to go to friend counseling and you really want to save that relationship, then maybe you need to do some friend counseling. I don't know, Christian counseling. You can go pay for it, whatever you want to do, or you just might need to take a pause or something. But they never, ever take risk. It's always your fault. They always say it's you. It's never them. They never take ownership for anything that they do. Okay? That's not a
Mhm.
real friend. A real friend is going to see their role in what just happened. A
Yeah.
fake friend is never there for you. Never. Let me clear. A fake friend constantly fishes for information.
Mm, that's that's hard too because if you're having a situation, you want to talk with someone to talk through it. So it's like they
Yes.
get all the information that you give and
Yep.
uses it as ammunition. So I'm like, that's a hard one
I bet
because
you're like,
sometimes
why
you
do
can't
people
get
do
ahead of
this?
that. You can't get ahead of it sometimes, and
Yeah.
that's the problem. hmm
And that is a
Before you
problem if
know
you
it,
don't get it.
yeah. Before
Before
you
you
know
know
it,
it, you're
you
all
just
jacked up.
yeah.
You done told
You
them
have
everything. And I don't know
yeah.
why. And I was like this too, AJ, back in the day. I really thought that I just needed to be friends with everybody and everybody was my friend. And, no, that's not, you have to love everyone. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. That doesn't mean you got to go to everybody's baby shower, you got to go to everybody's party. I put this in my sermon a couple of weeks ago. I think, if the joke isn't funny, I don't laugh at it no more. If it ain't funny, it ain't funny. I don't have to, you don't have to. I just want people to understand so much stress we put on ourselves in this day and time. Well, we do that, where
Yeah.
people are just not, we're not in the right place. That's after you've done your self check. You got to do a self check. I do a self check probably every day. Denise, what'd you do? What'd you say? Why you say that? You know that was wrong. Call that person, apologize, ask for forgiveness from God first, and go back every day. If there's something that I did wrong with a friend or an acquaintance, I gotta check. I gotta do right. I gotta try my best to do right. But do your self check before you start booting out all your friends, because sometimes it truly can be you.
Yeah.
If you're
hmm
listening, it could be you. You could be that one. And the last one here, a fake friend always talks about themselves only.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Only. They don't talk
That's
about other people. They don't give accolades to other people.
mm. They could be literally just like venting their situation to you. Because there's a lot of that. Like there's a
Hmm.
lot of people who just have people that they just dump stuff on to
Dump
then
stuff
let
on.
it out.
And
They vent.
that's fine, but that means you're not friends.
Yeah,
That might not be
exactly.
a true friend. They might need a
Mm-mm.
psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor or a coach, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're not equipped to carry that burden. You know what I'm saying? We're not really equipped for that. So as a friend, then I might need to tell them, you know what? Have you considered talking to someone about these things? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
here for you. I'll even go with you or help you find someone, but I'm really not qualified. I don't want to lead you wrong and I want you to be okay.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
I've been there before and it's no fun. Can I help you another way? I'm listening, but I want to be able to really make sure you get the right help, because it sounds like it's weighing you down. And
Yeah,
those conversations are difficult to have. They are a must.
they are. They're just as important as self checks.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep.
They're just as important as self checks, is to have the conversation with your
Yep.
friend, so called friend. It's time to do purging so you can really lean into your purpose. And a lot of times we hang on to fake friends, and God is not able to open doors for us when we do that because we're holding on to baggage. And what I mean by baggage is not necessarily the person as a baggage, but the things that they do, their actions and their speak and their negativity. We should pray for them and intercede for them. If we're a praying person, you pray for that individual. But and sometimes we have to make sure that we're not like holding on to something that is preventing us from being used for God's glory. And a lot of times we do that and we look back and we're like, man, that 3 years has been gone.
Mm-hmm. And my thing is, time goes by so fast, especially now.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It
Especially right
sure does. You're a woman of little words that just go wow to me. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. You just like
now.
when you say it, it's like, oh,
Oh,
I
thank
love it.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, sister girl, I pray you get some rest today. And me too. I know we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about that earlier because we need it.
Yeah. Yep. But Starbucks, here I come.
I know, right? Me too. Which one you going to? I'm going to Conyers.
Lennox, the one over that's close to Lennox Mall.
Oh, wow. Well, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I will too. It was great chatting with you, and
Yeah.
great chatting with everybody too.
Mm-hmm. Thank
And
you guys
because
for
we're not on
tuning
our
in.
personal, we don't have a whole lot of chatter back, but we still
Mm,
have a lot of viewers on. So that's a good thing. So
that's a great thing. Yeah. All right, guys.
see y'all later.
See you later.
Jesus. Peace.